Two signs show that you are both afraid to love each other, even though the feelings already exist. Sometimes love does not arrive loudly. It does not knock on your door or appear with a clear announcement saying, "Here I am." At times, love comes quietly. It shows up as a soft presence, so subtle that you may even question whether it is real. You notice it in brief looks, in small moments when your hands touch and neither of you pulls away. It does not feel like something from a movie, and it certainly does not resemble the fairy tales many of us grew up believing in. It is gentle, nearly unseen, which is why it is easy to miss and hard to define. This type of love appears in pauses. It shows up as hesitation before sending a message or a moment of silence in conversation when neither person wants to reveal too much. It looks like almost meeting for coffee, almost expressing feelings, almost reaching for each other's hands. You both sense it, yet there is an unspoken understanding to leave things unchanged. Still, the connection cannot be denied. You struggle to explain why this person matters so deeply, why their absence feels heavier than expected, or why a simple message from them can cause your heart to race. There is a steady rhythm to this quiet connection, a pull stronger than logic and stronger than circumstances. You do not say what you feel, and they do not either. Yet every action, every exchange, and every shared silence carries meaning that neither of you can fully explain. It can feel confusing, but it is also deeply meaningful. You find yourself wondering why it feels so real when nothing has officially happened. Why does every interaction stay with you? Why do their opinions, moods, and laughter affect you more than they should? The answer is gentle but uncomfortable. You are not afraid of each other. You are afraid of what loving each other could require, what it might change, and what it could reveal about yourselves that you are not ready to face. There are two clear signs that love already exists, even if fear stands in the way, asking you to pause. The first sign is how closely you notice each other. Small details about them remain in your mind without effort. Their happiness or sadness influences you in ways you never expected. The second sign is how often you imagine a shared future. It is a life you hesitate to speak about, yet you cannot stop picturing it. Both signs point to a simple truth. You already love each other, and the fear you feel is love trying to move through the barriers you have built. Welcome to Never Give Up. Remember to subscribe, press the bell icon, and select all notifications. Each video is designed to challenge your perspective, shift your mindset, and remind you that some of the strongest connections are the quiet ones. They do not always arrive with excitement or celebration. Sometimes they come softly, steadily, until you can no longer ignore what your heart has understood all along. Love doesn't always announce itself loudly, but when it whispers, it communicates the deepest truths. Sign one you both hold back, even when the timing feels perfect. There are rare moments when everything aligns effortlessly. Conversations flow naturally, silences feel comforting instead of awkward, and the energy between you radiates warmth, familiarity, and closeness, yet nothing moves forward. No confessions are made, no bold gestures occur, no invisible boundary is crossed. This is not because the feeling isn't there, it's because it's too profound to risk carelessly. Superficial attraction often leads to impulsive actions, but when love takes root, everything changes. Words gain weight, actions feel permanent, and even a small misstep seems capable of damaging the delicate bond you are building. In these moments, you both slow down. Every message is carefully considered, every word measured against potential outcomes. Conversations are replayed endlessly in your mind, analyzing tone, timing, and intention. You hold back from saying what your heart already knows, not from lack of desire, but from a need to protect the fragile connection. Fear hides beneath this silence. It is not fear of loving, but fear of losing, of revealing your vulnerability only to be left unchosen. It is the apprehension of opening a door that may never close again. So instead of acting impulsively, you practice restraint, patience disguised as distance. They mirror your caution, forming an unspoken rhythm of emotional protection that is both intense and undefined. This hesitation and careful restraint is the clearest sign of all. Without genuine love or growing devotion, this anxiety would not exist. You would act freely, speak without overthinking, and care far less. The very act of considering every word and action against the survival of your connection shows that something meaningful is at stake. Both of you stand on the edge of an invisible precipice, drawn to each other by a force neither can fully control, silently waiting for the other to make the first move. The pull is undeniable, the connection tangible, and the unspoken tension hangs like electricity. Alive and unmistakable, even when words fail. Sign 2, you create distance but cannot let go. This is one of the most puzzling signs of all. You don't chase each other or demand reassurance. At times you pull back intentionally, testing boundaries or seeking clarity. Yet neither of you disappears, regardless of how much time passes, how quiet communication becomes, or how logical it might seem to move on. You remain connected invisibly yet undeniably. Distance does not weaken this connection, it reveals it. If the feelings were shallow or temporary, time apart would have erased them completely. Instead, they persist, appearing quietly in your mind, surprising you with their persistence. Even when contact is limited and days or weeks pass without meaningful interaction, the emotional bond remains. You may temporarily convince yourself that nothing significant is happening, yet reality contradicts that logic. These feelings continue quietly, occupying your thoughts and surfacing unexpectedly when your defenses are down. This silent, patient longing highlights the depth of the bond. People who genuinely care sometimes pull away when love feels overwhelming. Distance becomes a way to cope, a method to manage emotions too intense to face directly. Both of you create space, yet the heart refuses to abandon what it knows is valuable. You miss each other quietly, care without notice, and hope privately, connected by a bond that does not break under pressure. This is not immaturity, it is emotional intensity. It is the steady, unwavering loyalty that persists even when circumstances force separation. You may attempt to fill the void, talk to others, keep busy, or even convince yourself that you are fine, but beneath the surface the comparison remains. Every interaction, casual conversation, and fleeting encounter is measured against the presence that once mattered most. Thoughts of them appear at unexpected moments. You wonder how they are, how their days unfold, and if they think of you too. This kind of attachment is not born from confusion or neediness. It is born of love, patiently and quietly waiting for courage to arrive. Unspoken love carries a weight that expressed love rarely does. Its intensity comes from what remains unsaid and unexplored. There is no closure, no tidy resolution, no narrative to comfort the heart. Instead, it rests quietly in your chest, pulsing gently, a constant reminder that some feelings cannot be ignored. You notice it in late night thoughts, in moments when a presence is missing, and you long to fill that space. This love teaches patience, but it also tests courage. It asks not for impulsive action, but for honesty. Be honest with yourself about what you truly feel and why you hesitate. Ask gently, am I afraid of loving them or of what that love might demand? Am I waiting for certainty or permission? If nothing changed, would I regret staying silent? Sometimes love does not require immediate action, but it does require awareness. When two hearts hesitate, held back by fear, time does not erase what exists between them. It only determines who will speak first and who will carry the quiet ache of what might have been. Awareness, clarity, and reflection are essential tools for navigating the invisible weight of an unspoken connection. If you are reading this carefully and absorbing it, remember the final truth. If both of you were indifferent, everything would be clear. Confusion, tension, hesitation, all arise only where love exists but is restrained. When a connection feels profound yet undefined, safe yet intimidating, calm yet emotionally charged, it is real, not imagined. You are both afraid yet already in love, standing on opposite sides of the same unspoken truth. Courage has not yet spoken, and fear has not yet been silenced. Yet the quiet, steadfast bond between you is undeniable, waiting for someone to bridge the space between longing and expression. This type of love, the patient, almost invisible love, is one of the most intense and paradoxical experiences a person can encounter. It does not demand attention, nor does it rely on grand gestures or proclamations. Instead, it resides in the corners of your mind, in the small, often unnoticed moments of your daily life. In subtle ways you feel their presence even when they are not there. You sense it in rhythms you cannot fully name, in the way your heart tightens when you think of them, in the sense that certain moments feel incomplete without them. Its weight is not a burden, but a mark of authenticity. Real things require courage to embrace fully. When two people share this bond, it creates a unique duality. On one side, there is warmth, familiarity, and comfort, as if the other person exists in your life as a constant truth. On the other side, there is restraint, fear, and careful consideration of every word and action. Love feels fragile, and so you hold back. Every glance, word, and silence carries meaning. The stakes are high, not simply because of potential rejection, but because what is at risk is rare and irreplaceable. Emotional intensity in this context is not a flaw, it is a signal of depth. It shows that the heart understands the value of what it holds and does not act carelessly. Distance in such a connection does not weaken it, it often strengthens it. Shallow feelings dissolve under separation, but deep, restrained love endures. Silence or absence cannot erase it. The connection persists and may even grow stronger in quiet moments. You find yourself thinking of them unexpectedly, comparing others to the standard set by their presence, feeling a loyalty even without formal ties. You may try to distract yourself, convince yourself that life goes on, yet the emotional thread remains taut and unbroken. This lingering presence is a sign that the bond is not ordinary attachment. It is love in its rarest and most patient form. Unspoken love carries a weight that spoken love rarely does. Without closure or clarity, it rests quietly in the chest, unnoticed until a memory or moment brings it to the surface. This type of love tests patience. It cannot be rushed, forced, or easily named. It teaches awareness by demanding honesty with oneself. Are you afraid of loving, or are you afraid of what love might cost you? Are you waiting for certainty, permission, or the courage to take a step forward? Answers rarely come immediately, but reflecting on these questions deepens your understanding and prepares your heart for genuine expression when the time is right. The most beautiful yet most challenging part of this connection is that both individuals feel it, often acting in parallel, each waiting for the other to make the first move. Fear and love exist side by side in a delicate balance. This creates a quiet tension that is emotionally deep and profoundly human. Neither is indifferent, careless, or fully in control. The hesitation, the careful restraint, reflects something rare and precious. Love does not always require immediate action, but it does require recognition. Being aware of its presence, acknowledging its depth, and being honest about your own emotions are the first steps toward navigating the quiet ache of what might be. In this sense, unspoken love is both a challenge and a gift. It teaches, tests, and ultimately asks one question: will you allow your heart to speak before fear decides for you? This love endures because it cannot be neatly defined or easily resolved. It exists in moments that may appear trivial to the outside world, but feel monumental to you, a message left unread, a glance that lingers a little too long, a silence that communicates more than words ever could. Every interaction is amplified by your mind and heart, not because the situation is extraordinary, but because the emotional stakes are. You live in heightened awareness, noticing every tone, hesitation, smile, or pause, searching for meaning that may or may not exist. This is the weight of unspoken love. It sharpens the senses, magnifies emotions, and transforms the ordinary into something extraordinary. Even when you try to move on, your heart resists letting go of this connection. You might meet others, create distractions, or fill your days with activity, yet your thoughts inevitably return to them. There is a strange constancy to this bond, an invisible thread that links you across time and space. It is not possession or obsession, but reverence for the significance they hold in your life. They cannot be replaced. Every interaction with someone else is measured, every feeling compared, every laugh or smile weighed against the silent standard set by this unspoken love. It is both humbling and painful, revealing the depth of your capacity to care and feel. What intensifies this love is the tension between fear and longing. You crave closeness, yet fear the consequences of exposure. You desire the warmth of honesty, but hesitate, afraid that vulnerability may be met with absence or rejection. Every step forward feels as though it could either strengthen the bond or break it completely. The mind constantly evaluates risk, replays scenarios, imagines outcomes, and weighs every angle. This is not hesitation from weakness, but caution born of reverence. The heart recognizes something rare and refuses to gamble recklessly. It waits, observes, and hopes for courage to emerge, either within yourself or in the other, so that this feeling can finally be expressed openly. Distance and silence, instead of breaking the connection, often serve to deepen it. When you are apart, you become aware of how your life subtly or deeply changes in their absence. Moments that might have gone unnoticed now carry longing and reflection. You recall small details, replay memories, imagine conversations, and feel the ache of what might have been. This distance is not emptiness, it is a space for awareness, reflection, and appreciation of the bond's true value. Love in this form does not require constant attention to exist. Its quiet persistence proves its depth, speaking more loudly than any words could. Unspoken love carries weight because it refuses to be overlooked. It calls for honesty, courage, and self-awareness. It asks you to examine not only the feelings themselves, but also the barriers you've built between yourself and their expression. Are you afraid of rejection, of vulnerability, or of losing the comfort of what already exists, even if it is undefined? Are you waiting for perfect timing, certainty, or some unseen permission to act? The love itself is patient, but it challenges you to face your hesitations and discern whether fear or wisdom guides your restraint. In this, it teaches profound lessons about trust, bravery, and the silent power of connection waiting for hearts bold enough to claim it. This love thrives in the unseen, unnoticed spaces, in the quiet corners where no one else pays attention. It is felt in glances that linger too long, in a smile that remains in memory, and in the echo of laughter after it fades from the room. It exists in small rituals, thoughts replayed in private, and in fleeting what-ifs when the world moves too fast to notice your heart's pulse. There is sacred patience in this feeling because it cannot be forced, rushed, or fully expressed in words. It is quiet, yes, but it is alive, pulsating in the spaces between what is spoken and what remains unsaid. When two people share this type of connection, it creates an invisible rhythm, an almost imperceptible dance of emotion and restraint. Each knows the other is present, yet neither fully steps forward. Every conversation, every interaction carries meaning because the stakes are high. There is a constant tension between the desire to move closer and the fear of missteps, of exposing a heart that could be hurt. You think, reflect, and hesitate, not because the feeling is absent, but because it is sacred. Every heartbeat, thought, and silence reminds you of the depth of what is shared, even when unnamed. The H of distance in this love is not emptiness, it is awareness. Being apart allows the heart and mind to stretch. Recognizing how much presence matters, you feel the absence in small, everyday ways: a coffee enjoyed alone, a quiet walk, a moment meant to be shared but left solitary. The mind revisits memories, explores possibilities, and imagines futures that may or may not come. Yet there is comfort in this ache, as it proves significance. This is not casual infatuation. It is love patient enough to wait, strong enough to exist without constant affirmation, subtle enough to thrive unspoken, and powerful enough to transform how you see yourself and the world. Even the smallest moments gain weight and meaning. A message read twice, a fleeting thought, a casual glance, these small moments become symbols, reminders, and anchors of what exists between you. There is a depth in the unspoken that words cannot capture. The heart remembers, the mind lingers, and the soul clings to the invisible thread connecting two people. It is both a challenge and a gift, prompting introspection and honesty while offering profound intimacy through its quiet consistency. You do not need validation from the outside world, because the proof lies in your own awareness, the persistent feeling that remains even in silence. Unspoken love carries weight precisely because it comes without guarantees. There is no closure, no script, no clearly defined path. It exists in the space between possibility and hesitation, courage and fear. This tension sharpens your awareness and heightens emotional sensitivity. Every interaction is measured, every pause considered, every word chosen with care. It is both protective and revealing, showing that love involves responsibility, awareness, and intentionality. You understand the fragility, the stakes, and the potential for both loss and fulfillment. Acting impulsively could damage what is sacred, but waiting too long risks letting the opportunity pass quietly. Despite this tension, there is a strange comfort in the constant presence of the connection. It does not demand attention or insist on your presence, yet it endures quietly and insistently. This is a love that does not require affirmation to exist. It proves itself through absence, longing, and the invisible thread that keeps hearts linked across distance and time. You begin to recognize that this type of bond is rare. It is not casual, fleeting, or superficial. It is deep, patient, quiet, and lasting. While it calls for courage, it also offers an extraordinary sense of understanding, knowing that what exists between you is genuine, meaningful, and deeply human. This love is patient in ways many cannot comprehend. It waits in quiet moments, in the spaces where life continues unnoticed. It exists in the pause between conversations, the briefest glances and subtle exchanges of understanding without words. It is not loud, but it is persistent. It does not demand, yet it does not diminish. The heart recognizes its truth even when the lips remain silent. You notice it in yourself, the way your thoughts drift to them unexpectedly, the pull you feel toward them during an otherwise busy day, the way their presence or absence shapes your emotional rhythm. This is a love that cannot be erased by logic or distance, because it resides in the quiet corners of the soul. Its beauty lies in the depth it encourages, the reflection it demands, and the understanding it fosters, not only of your own feelings but of the other person's, along with the delicate balance between desire and fear. You become attuned to nuance, aware of emotional undertones, and sensitive to the natural rhythm of the connection. Every smile, every pause, every word shared between you carries meaning because you understand the importance of what's at stake. There is no careless behavior here, only careful attention. The heart acts cautiously because it knows the value of what it holds, a rare, precious connection that cannot easily be replaced. In this restraint, love grows stronger, more refined and enduring. This love is also defined by longing, the quiet, nearly imperceptible ache of wanting without pressure. It is the awareness that what exists is precious, fragile, and worth protecting. You feel it in the moments between interactions, the pause in your day when a thought of them surfaces, the sudden memory that stirs a sharp "what if," or when places, scents, or familiar triggers remind you of them. This is not regret, it is the intensity of significance. Such longing heightens awareness, deepens emotional intelligence, and nurtures patience. Love here is not only action, it is mindfulness, vigilance, and respect for the bond that exists even without words. There is a paradox: the closer you feel, the more cautious you become. The deeper the heart etch, the more carefully you move. Every step toward expressing feelings is measured against the risk of loss. Every word is weighed, every gesture considered. Fear of vulnerability does not lessen love, it deepens it, transforming intensity into mindfulness, desire into reverence. You learn to navigate not only your emotions, but also the consequences of acting on them. In this careful balance between courage and restraint, love becomes almost sacred. Its power lies not in immediacy, but in persistence, subtlety, and depth. Even silence becomes part of this connection's language. Words are not always needed because the presence of feeling is already clear. Sometimes quiet communicates more than any conversation could. Each glance, pause, an unspoken thought builds a bridge of understanding, invisible to others but profoundly real to those involved. Within this silence, you sense the weight, loyalty, consistency, and patience that define your bond. Unspoken love thrives in this space between expression and restraint, creating depth, intimacy, and a rare emotional richness that cannot be replaced. If this message resonates, take a moment to show support. Hit the like button. It's a small action, but lets us know this message matters. Share this with someone who may need to hear it today, someone navigating the quiet, intense, unspoken feelings of love and connection. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss insights that can shift how you see yourself, your relationships, and the world around you. Every view, share, and subscription helps us continue creating content that inspires, guides, and reminds you that you are never alone in what you experience.